Next, we show you how the City of Bellevue is working to make Bellevue an accessible city for everyone.
So for your chair with balancing wheels, this doesn't represent a particularly challenging barrier, but were you in a manual chair, it would be considerably more.
Okay. Even a power chair.
Any city is there to serve the entire community. And that means that people who are mobility impaired or have other disabilities need to be able to get from place A to place B, just like anybody else.
Access to civic life is a fundamental goal of the Americans with Disability Act, and the City of Bellevue is doing everything it can to ensure that persons with disabilities have access to all of the city's programs and services. In the City of Bellevue, we have an estimated 15% of our population that has one disability or another. And as we look to the future, we anticipate that that number will increase with the aging demographic. So it's critical for the city to make accommodation for this constituency base, not just because it's the law, but it's the appropriate course of action. One of the requirements of the ADA is to conduct a comprehensive inventory of your sidewalk network and curb ramp facilities.
We're the first city in the nation to use a Segway adapted with a number of technologies to conduct a sidewalk and curb ramp assessment.
And within that, we documented a number of problem locations. Working with the disability community, we have the opportunity to identify where we should prioritize improvements. We brought together a collection of these residents with different types of disabilities to help inform what kinds of problems they face.
Okay, so would you rate it low, medium, or high?
For the lip, I would rate it medium to high.
Medium to high has it?
And then the other ones, I would rate it low to medium.
For the cross slope? Okay.
Yeah.
The only problem that I did notice is the between this ramp and the street.
The transition.
Some of that, yeah. I mean, some of the curbs, they're not kind of sloped, and so what I'd have to do is take my walker and just kind of lift it up onto the curb and do that, and sometimes that's just difficult to do.
Obviously, this for you has no warning surface, so that's probably a high level of it.
Yeah, it is. Straight? Come on, straight.
From the standpoint of a blind traveler, what makes a lot more difference than many of the things on the ADA list is the orientation of the ramp. I guess when I'm traveling, I assume that if I'm going straight down the sidewalk and my dog takes me to the ramp and to the bottom, that I'm both in the crosswalk and I'm aimed in the right direction to cross to the other crosswalk. I suspect there are times when those last two things aren't true.
Curbs make it real hard to go anywhere. Ramps make it real easy. Curb cuts make it easy.
This is interesting to me because generally when we think about detectable warning surface, the yellow dome, I came into this with the assumption that for people in chairs it would be of little import, that it was really geared toward people with vision disability. So this is really interesting to me to hear this. Improving access for people with disabilities on our sidewalks and curb ramp facilities does more than just reaching out to this minority population. It also improves universal access to all residents, including people in strollers, people who are recovering from an injury, people who are elderly, who have difficulties in moving around the city. So the benefits are not just accessibility for people with disabilities, but universal access for all residents.
I travel around and I think about, oh, I wish this curb would be better, this sidewalk would be more aligned. But to actually go out and talk about this, where some kind of action could be done with our suggestions, is great.
City of Bellevue undertook a robust public involvement process in conducting this project, including an open house at which we invited people from different social service organizations, community service organizations to come together and engage with city staff.
I think the people in the City of Bellevue should understand that the city is trying with what is available to make the city as accessible as they can.
The ultimate goal is to have a transportation system and facilities in the City of Bellevue that are fully accessible to everybody in this community, today, tomorrow, and in the long term.